Hi everyone! Dahlias and zinnias are absolute showstoppers in the garden. They bring in the bees and butterflies like crazy to pollinate your vegetables, and you want to keep these gorgeous warm weather flowers blooming for as long as you possibly can. But I gotta warn you, growing them is addicting. It's a thrill to see their beautiful color. So for more blooms on your dahlias and zinnias, to keep them blooming longer, follow the 3 techniques I'm going to share with you today. Technique number 1 is staking. Now, as you can see here, this is my pollinator garden, and the zinnias and dahlias can get quite tall and the blooms can get quite large. So staking is a great idea to keep them upright, give them a little bit of support throughout the season so you get lots more blooms. Now, I've got a nice wide swath of zinnias here, kept it really simple, put a little zinnia fence around it, just with some old dried up sunflower stalks. I saved them from last season, and then wrap some twine around them to make a nice light support. If you just have a few zinnias, what you could do is just put some kind of cedar pole or stake right behind them and then tie them to the stake with my favorite little stretchy tie tape here. Because dahlias can be quite large flowers. These are dinner plate dahlias, about 8 inches across. The plants are about 6 feet tall. You need to use a larger stake. So what I like are these Titan tomato cages. They can support several dahlia plants, and you want to install them at the time of planting. That way the dahlias grow nice and upright, helps them have more blooms and bloom longer. But what you need to do is tie them to the support as they grow. And I like to keep one of my little stretchy tie tapes just hanging here from my trellis so it's always available. And then check your dahlias maybe once a week or so and your zinnias. And as they grow, break off a piece of your stretchy tie tape and then just support your dahlias by tying it to the trellis so it stays nice and sturdy, because as the flowers bloom, the stems get heavy and they will break off and snap without support. So this way you have lots and lots of blooms. The other type of support you can use for dahlias if you don't have a large tomato cage is just a simple cedar stake. I've got some dahlias here tied to the stake with a stretchy tie tape, or even a tall tree branch. This week I pruned a bunch of trees, kept the tree branches for supports, and here I've been tying the dahlias up to the tree branch as it grows. Technique number 2 is pruning, because the more you prune, the more they bloom. Now, don't wait for your spent flowers to fall off on their own, because once the flowers start looking like this, it's an indication that the plant is in seed production mode. Then all the plant's energy goes into promoting the root growth and the foliage growth rather than to creating showy blooms. So pruning is super important for long-lasting blooms and more blooms. So to prune the dahlias, once they start looking like this and the flowers start dying off, you want to take off the dead flowers. So what you do is you follow the stem all the way down to the first set of leaves here, and then you clip the stem right at the base of that. In a week or so, you'll start seeing new growth and new buds develop down at the base. Now, the reason why you want to cut the stem at the bottom is that way you avoid these headless stems on your dahlia plants. Just going to snip these here. These are gorgeous magenta burgundy dinner plate dahlias. Cut this third one off right down here at the base. This flower is going to create a ton more blooms on it. Once the sun hits this garden, it is just buzzing with bees and butterflies. It's so beautiful. And I love planting as many colors of zinnias as possible. And these are all from my zinnia seed collection. There's so many different beautiful colors and varieties in here. But you want to prune spent zinnia flowers in the same way. So here I've got a couple down here that are kind of fading out. So I'm again going to follow the stem down to the first set of leaves. This is where a new bloom will appear once the stem is cut. Snip it here, and we're going to go through our zinnia patch and do that to all of our spent zinnias about once a week or so. But you can also prune zinnias when they're about 10 to 12 inches high. That way the plants grow nice and strong and bushy, and you get a lot more blooms that way. So what you want to do is take a look at your zinnias, and if you've got a stem like this one that is a little bit wobbly, see it kind of wobbles when you shake it, that one is not ready for pruning. So we'll leave that one to grow a little bit more, but we'll come over here to this stem that is nice and strong and sturdy, doesn't wobble when you wiggle it there, and we're going to go ahead and prune this so that we have a nice bushy plant, and then we can take these beautiful zinnias into the house. I'm just going to follow it down to the second set of leaves here. Just so we prune it a little bit shorter, cut it right there, and that's where the new growth will appear. You can do it again to this bloom and to this bloom. It's nice and sturdy. That way we get a lot more blooms and nice sturdy plants that aren't going to fall over in the wind. Technique number 3 for more blooms on your zinnias and dahlias is disease control. Now, dahlias and zinnias are prone to a disease called powdery mildew. I know a lot of you are familiar with this, but it tends to come in times of high humidity, and it shows up like white little spots all over the leaves, and it will start on the leaves, but often it moves to the stems and the blooms, and it can eventually kill your plants, but it definitely looks very, very unsightly. So if you can prevent it before it even happens, all that much better. Bonite and I are working together on this one to bring you some really good powdery mildew control. Now, I've used Neem Max for a while now to control the powdery mildew. It's processed without chemicals, it's for organic gardening, and it really is a great 4-in-1 disease and pest control solution. So not only will it kill and control the powdery mildew, but it will also take care of any chewing and sucking insects that might be on your plants. So this is a concentrate, very easy to apply. You want to follow the directions on the package. It has this handy little measuring cup as a lid. And here I've got a little half-gallon pump sprayer. So I'm going to pour the concentrate into that. This is filled with water. I'll shake it up. Pump out the air, then you're ready to spray down your plants. Now, you do want to do a test spray first to spray down a couple of leaves. Wait 24 to 48 hours before you spray down your whole plant. You want to spray in the morning or in the evening, not in the direct sunlight, and just spray the leaves, not the blooms, to help control the powdery mildew. Then spray every 10 to 14 days to help control and prevent powdery mildew. I'm also going to spray down my dahlia leaves, and besides powdery mildew, dahlias also tend to be attacked by pests. As you can see, I've got some spotting of the leaves, some leaf miners, thrips, maybe some other kind of insects. So the Neem Max, because it is a 4-in-1 pest control solution, will do the job with the powdery mildew and with the insects. Now what I want you to do is head out to your garden, stake, prune, and manage the disease in your dahlias and zinnias so you have plenty of blooms all summer long. They're real showstoppers, and they bring in the pollinators like crazy, and you'll have lots of beautiful cut flowers in your house as well. I'll link up everything I use in today's video down below, and also head over to CaliKimGardenandHome.com. Grab yourself a zinnia seed collection, especially if you're in a frost-free zone. You can still plant zinnias right now. You get 20% off with the code Zinnia, and you'll also get a free onion seed collection with your purchase of seed collections, garden kits, books, or CaliKim Smart Pots. And then grab an August Fall Grow Your Groceries with CaliKim subscription box for $8 off your first month with the code Fall Veggies. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.